Number one, if you don't think you can actually lose the weight, then you're not going to lose the weight. Okay. So if you feel like you're just too old, you feel like you are past your prime, you feel like, oh, well, in my community, we just are big boned, we are this, we are that. No. So if you aren't able to get it adjusted in your brain first, then automatically this journey is not going to be even remotely possible at all. So I'm actually headed for the next year of my life. It'll be the last year of my 30s. So then I'll be heading to the next decade that starts with the number 4. And I'm really proud of that actually. So I definitely don't have any desire to go back to my 20s, but there is some things that you have to do when you are spending more years on the planet. Okay, so these are some really bizarre things that I do to stay in shape. I lost 30 pounds. I never gained it back, but I want to just keep it really real with you. And if you're new to me, this is going to sound it's just going to be a lot, but if you're used to me, you're going to understand. So this is the thing. It's going to be uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't feel good. It's not fun to have to do portion control, to have to not eat sugar, to not drink soda every day, to not, have cocktails every day. It is not fun to do those things. So I think when you are on this fitness journey, if you want to look like an athlete or head down that road to look like an athlete, you have to start thinking like an athlete. And these athletes have very, very disciplined lives. Now, if that's not for you, if that's not what you're trying to do, then this video is not for you. So full transparency, this is a keep it real type of channel. I actually want you to get the results. I actually want you to make the change. I actually want you to be able to get the body of your personal dreams, right? So not fitting any kind of beauty standard. Number one, just being healthy, right? So some bizarre things that I do is when I've eaten really, really heavy, okay, at the beginning of the day, I will have a very, very light lunch, and then I will just have like a broth for dinner. Now, if you look at ancient Indian history and the way that they do things over there, that is a way of life, a certain ancient Indian practice that it just works, right? Like, when you really think about it, it makes sense. So when you wake up in the morning, let's just say for example, for me, I wake up at 6 a.m, okay? And I don't have any food for the first hour guaranteed of me being awake. I just don't need it. I can operate at optimal level, optimal energy with just an empty stomach. And then around like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, if I have a really big breakfast, I burn that off by the time it's 3 o'clock, right? Or like, I wouldn't say burn it off all the way. Of course, my body's still digesting that food, but I don't feel full at all from that by the middle of the day because my brain is working, right? My blood is pumping, I'm having to walk, I'm having to blink. Like, there's so much energy that we actually exert. I believe we burn 1,300 calories a day just for simply existing. So if I have an early breakfast, I don't need a heavy lunch and I don't need a heavy dinner, right? Unless I'm going to go run a marathon or I have an event to go to, or I'm going to be really active in the evening. There's really no reason to eat heavy. So that is a really, really amazing trick, to eat heavy at the beginning of the day, then light, then very, very, very light. Okay. So that's what I do. I love it. I go to bed feeling really, really good. I don't have all this food just sitting on my stomach trying to digest while I'm trying to sleep. I actually give my body the chance to repair, rejuvenate, get rid of bad cells while I'm sleeping. So I get the maximum benefit out of my sleep. Of course, I'm not able to do it every single day, but I would say a solid 5 out of 7 days, I'm doing that. Okay. Next thing, guys, I know it's crazy. I know it's not fun. It's a little bizarre, but truly, I try to stay away from sugar as much as I can. I'm a recovering sugaraholic. It is what it is. I've admitted it. Not everybody has to necessarily do the extreme that I do, but if you want to lose the weight, you can't have the sugar. Like, that's just what it is. There's so many studies now. And if you are still eating the sugar and you're 35 and up and you're not wondering why you're not getting rapid results or quicker results than you were thinking that you should have, you just have to get rid of the sugar or literally train for a marathon, right? And then even training for a marathon is not even necessarily the most safest thing to do. It is very, very hard on your body. So unless you are an ultra athlete and you have a reason to burn several thousands of calories a day, if you're eating a ton of sugar and then you go to a sedentary job, you're not going to lose the weight. It's just, it is what it is. It's part of spending more years on the planet. And honestly, sugar does nothing for you. There's no nutritional value, right? Like your body it already has storage sitting on it, right? That's the fat, right? So you got to give your body a chance to actually use up the reserve that's sitting on your back, on your belly, on your thighs, on the back of your arms, right? Like maybe in your glute area, like in areas where you're like, I kind of, it would be nice to kind of have this shaped a little different or a little smaller, or I lose a couple inches. You got to get rid of the sugar. It just is what it is. And there's sugar, you guys, and pretty much it feels like everything. So it is overwhelming. It is intense, but just be up for the challenge. You can do this, right? Like you have made it this far. You probably are doing great in your career. You probably have a great family. You're probably a great friend. You're probably a great, boss, worker, whatever it is. Do this for yourself. Like you can do this. So, things like ketchup, right? Even overeating on certain vegetables like carrots, not having too many carrots, right? Like I will never demonize fruits and vegetables, but again, if you're really trying to lose the weight, there is some better choices that you can have, like the dark leafy greens, some of the darker fruits like the blueberries, the blackberries, the raspberries, things that are less sugary, to really just get your body used to not having, like craving that fake sugar, that like the, high fructose corn syrup, or, just the processed sugar that is pretty much in everything. There's a lot of hidden sugar in dressing, in quote unquote healthy dressing. When you turn it around, there's like 17 grams of sugar in it. And that's why it tastes as good as it does, right? There is sugar, of course, in protein bars. I've even had to scale back myself because I was like, okay, well, I'm eating a protein bar, vegan, it's made with this, it's made with that. And then it has like 9 grams of sugar in it. Like it's just unnecessary. So if you're craving sugar, if you feel like you just cannot take it, you might really need to go do a detox. Like seriously, you might need to do a 2, 3 day, 4 day detox, some kind of juice detox. Of course, get with a medical professional, get with your doctor. This is only for entertainment purposes, but that's what I've done, and you see me now, I'm heading into my 40s and I feel really good. I feel strong in my body. I feel like I have a lot of natural energy. I feel like I have the ability to challenge myself more and more. I'm not even, I'm just trying to get better and better every single month that goes by, right? So this particular class that I'm doing, by the way, it's a HIIT cardio class. So it's meant to be fast paced. It's meant to burn a lot of calories. But when you do workouts like this, just be aware that this is not the type of workouts that you want to do when you're trying to build muscle. This is specifically to lose fat. But when you do these exercises, there's a couple tricks. Okay. So what happens is people will do this type of intense workout and then they'll go home and binge their little heart out. Right. And they're like, well, I did a really tough workout. I was sweating a lot, but then you end up overeating on the calories because you exerted so much energy doing this. So you got to be really, really smart when it comes to the way that you got to have a plan. Okay. So what I do is I bring either a protein shake, a vegan protein shake, or I'll bring like dark berries, or I'll bring some almonds or some cashews. And I just have a little bag of that, like 100 calories worth of a bag of that in my gym bag. So that way, as soon as I'm done with the class, I eat that. That way, when I get home, I'm not wanting to, just completely attack the kitchen and eat everything and then end up overeating. And you're just wondering why you're not seeing the results. It's because you are probably overeating after you work out because you've exerted so much energy. So yes, you're burning fat, but you're also burning muscle when you're doing this. So that's why it's also important to have some kind of weight training class. So as you can see, and what I didn't tell you guys at the beginning of the video was that this is the second class. So I had did a whole 30-minute class before this, and then this is the second class. So I was already starting this class, having exerted a lot of energy. So you can just really see me just powering through. It hurts. That's a medium tier resistance band, right? They do have more intense resistance band, but resistance bands are not a joke. They will up level any kind of workout. And it looks like it's not doing much, but it is burning. Okay. So this is the level that you got to get at. And it doesn't look pretty. It's not glamorous. I don't have all this amazing lighting and, just all these beautiful angles. This is what it looks like. You're breathing hard. You're making weird faces. you are pushing through, you're putting your head back like I just did. It's a grind. But one thing I can say is the women in the class that I'm with, I'm actually one of the younger ones in the class. A lot of women are 55 plus in the class. And I'm like, I have no excuse. These women are in here getting it in. I have no excuse. Okay. So you can start at any age, go as hard as you want, really push yourself like I am. And the results will be there. Like I can't thank my 10 years ago self enough for just going for it, for just getting after it, for just being uncomfortable, for just working out when I didn't feel like it, right? The delayed gratification. So that's like another bizarre thing that I do. I'm still trying to master. I wouldn't say I'm nowhere near mastering it, but I am able to tap into delayed gratification pretty well. Like I will be able to not have any bread, any donuts. And let me back up. I'm not saying you can't have those things, but when you are in a certain season of your life and you're really trying to get to that next level just for a season, right? And when I say season, I always am referring to a 90-day type of season, right? 90 days, 120 days, right? So 3 to 4 months of a really solid, consistent basis of like, cutting back on the bread, cutting back on the starches, cutting back, eliminating the pastas, right? Just for a season to give your body the chance to tap into the fat that's already sitting on your body, to burn it up for fuel. And then once you lose, 2, 3, 4, 5 dress sizes, then when you have your pasta, you're enjoying it. And then you're going to get in a really amazing workout and just be able to burn that off and not gain a pound, right? That's what we want to get you to. You can actually speed up your metabolism. It's people think that you're not capable of doing it, but the studies have shown that you can actually have a pretty fast metabolism well into your 60s. Okay. You can maintain muscle pretty well into your 60s and even heading into your 70s. So I really want to encourage you in that way. If it may feel like, okay, I have such a huge mountain to climb, but once you start doing it, what happens is it starts to compound on each other. So you might not really see a big difference for the first 3 months, 4 months, right? But it goes by quickly. All you have to do is just worry about that day, right? So get your workout in, get your steps in, making better choices, right? So eating heavier in the daytime, eating lighter as the day goes on, right? Staying away from sugar. And all of a sudden 90 days will go by and you're like, wait a minute, like my body is like, it just is shaped different, right? Like I have like a different body recomposition, right? So that's what I want to get you to understand. This is not a linear process. You just want to be trending in the right way, right? So even with me, I randomly lost like 4 to 6 pounds over the holiday season. And it was just because I started to really tighten up in some areas with my portion control, with staying away from sugar. Also, how I lost 30 pounds and never gained it back is I have an ebook guide. If you want to really tap in with that, it's my 4 pillars on how I did it. This has been my go-to. This is my foundation. 4 powerful pillars. When you combine the 4 pillars together, that's the ticket. It's not individually, oh, I just do this one part, I just do this one pillar, or just do these 2. When you combine the 4 pillars that I figured out for myself and I stayed consistent with it, I was able to lose the 30 pounds 10 years ago and never gain it back. So I'm actually more fit now in my late 30s than I was in my late 20s. Okay. So you can do this. I believe in you. We're going to do this together. Right. So I'm actually on a journey to just do some body recomposition. So just like losing fat, but then maintaining and building some muscle. So you guys can be on that journey with me. So this is what I call this practicing. I don't even call it like, I'm trying to get out of the habit of calling it like, oh, I gotta go to my workout. You have to change your mindset. So this is like another bizarre thing that I do. I literally act like I'm talking to my 70-year-old self, my 80-year-old self, right? Like, okay, my 70-year-old self is saying, okay, like they're my boss, right? And from the future and saying, okay, so you got to do this today. You got to do that. You have to practice moving your body. And something about saying practicing moving my body as opposed to my workout, it just feels smoother. It feels better. It feels more like, not like a chore, right? So I'm just like, you know what? I want to maintain a powerful, strong body so I can hike and see beautiful sights and travel and not have to use a wheelchair and not have to, if the escalator doesn't work, if the elevator doesn't work, I'm like, oh, great. How am I going to get up? Or I have to sit down at the bottom because I'm not able to walk up the steps, right? How many family members do we have that's already like that in their late 50s, right? And it just is unnecessary. It's something that we really can control. So I literally feel like I imagine my 70-year-old self and they're looking at me like, what are you going to do right now to help me live the best life that I can right now at 70? Like I'm already checked into that human being. And like I said, I'm thanking my younger self at 29 years old. When I was looking in the mirror, I was like, wait, this can't be it. Like I gained 30 pounds in 6 months and I'm feeling lethargic. I'm feeling heavier. I'm feeling fatigued. I'm feeling my sleep is messed up. I'm feeling obviously not confident in myself, right? I don't feel like myself, right? I'm feeling like I let myself down, right? And I gained the weight, not because of any kind of crazy health condition. I know that there is special cases, health conditions that put you at an unfair advantage to gain the weight, but that wasn't my case. I just was being irresponsible with my health, thinking that I can just operate like I'm a teenager. And I got a rude awakening that that's not the case. Eating at midnight, eating fast food. At the time I was eating a lot of meat, so I was eating fried food, and it just was like, I talk about my vegan journey in another video. I didn't even really like meat like that, but I had to have it super fried, right? Or I had to have like a lot of like things like super burnt, right? Or like really cheesy, or just, it had to be really, really like dressed up. And that was just slowly messing up my system, messing up my gut health, messing up my, just like me feeling like a little bit brain fogged too, like just like heavy and feeling, I always had to rely on coffee. So I cut all that out, and I am literally hugging my younger 10 years ago self for that. And I'm imagining that feeling 40 years from now, 50 years from now, right? By the grace of God, if, he allows me to be on the planet to continue to serve, right? So this is what I want to tell you. It's not fun. It's not pretty. It doesn't feel good. Like, this journey is not like an Instagram reel where it's like I wake up and the sun's shining and it's beaming on my skin, and that I go and get my amazing tea in the morning and it has this perfect steam coming off of it, and then I get the cutest outfit, and then I just skip to my workout and I'm just glistening and looking like a Victoria's Secret model while I'm doing, no, like you see me huffing and puffing, hunched over, looking wild, looking crazy. So this is the reality. So do these bizarre things with me. It is, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset into a bizarre level. So that way, if you want to be different, you got to think different. You got to do different. It just is what it is. So you might have to trick your mind a little bit. You might have to kind of live in an interesting reality to be able to get you to actually check in, right? So, I like imagining myself in the future, or having to eat lighter throughout the day. So I know that, okay, you know what? I want to feel really empty on my stomachs. Like some people would be like, I want to feel full, because you're used to that, right? But not realizing like that's why your skin isn't clearing up. That's why you feel fatigued. That's why, you go to the doctor and there's always like some kind of deficiency because of the habits and the order that you're doing things, right? We're not meant to smack off a ton of food at midnight. Like, why are we doing that to ourselves? We're messing up our body. Like, it's not fair to our body. It's almost like if our body could talk back to us, we would probably learn a lot. It actually does. It does in the aches, the pains, the arthritis, all the ailments. So definitely get in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you made it this far, put a strong arm, like a nice strong arm in the comments. Let me know if you made it this far. Tap in with my ebook guide down below and catch you on the next one.